welcome. We just started. So I started in detox or detoxification after my 5th C-section. I didn't feel great after having my son, and with my previous pregnancies, I feel like I kind of jumped back a lot quicker. So I was just desperate. I didn't feel good in my body. I, like you, would go to the health food stores, or like someone had said, I would go to the health food stores and I'm like, there's something in here. And we're going back, right, before they are what they are today. So I'd go to these like little hippie places and I'd be like, oh, this is gonna save me. This is gonna make me feel better. There's something here. And so you're looking at the packages and it's like, oh, this is vegan. Oh, this is gluten-free. All these packages, right, claiming like this is the way to health. I didn't understand it. I didn't know anything about it. And the people in the stores were just like, oh yeah, this is great if you're vegan. Like, there was no real information about why. Why juice? Why smoothie? Why do I have to, eat salads? Why do people think salads are healthy when you're putting like 1,000 calories with a salad dressing and all this fat and cheese, right? Like, I didn't understand it, and I was desperate to understand. And so that started my journey into the detoxification. I've tried everything, every diet, every workout, every fad, my entire life. My goal was to be healthy, to be thin, and back then, that's all we really cared about, right? It's like, how much cardio can you do? How much little food can you eat? That was sort of how I grew up. My mother was the same way, and that's just how I grew up. I didn't know anything. So I wanted answers. And I studied with a woman privately, and I became a detox specialist. Doesn't mean anything because there's no certifications. It doesn't really mean anything other than I've spent countless hours devouring books, not so much food, devouring books and really trying to get to the bottom of it. So that's what you're gonna learn today. You're not gonna learn just how do I detox, but you're gonna understand why these specific foods work the way they do inside of your beautiful, amazing body. Because your body is amazing and it is beautiful, and I say this after almost every class. But if you think about it this way, right? If I'm driving my car home right now and my tire goes flat, I'm gonna pull over to the side of the road. I have to call somebody to come and help me fix it, right, the next day. Let's say I do it the next day, right? They come, they help me, they fix it, and you're on your way. Your body, when you get a flat tire, for the most part, you're gonna heal, it heals itself. While you're sleeping at night, let's say you go and you scrape yourself, you wake up and it's like almost gone, right? 2 days later, it's gone. It's a miracle, but we don't think about it because it's every day, right? Everyday occurrences. We don't think of them as miracles. We just think, oh, that's the way it is. Oh yeah, my body, I was hurting yesterday, today I feel fine. Oh, I broke my foot, 6 weeks later, it's like, fine. What? Like, think about that. If there was a vehicle that did that, you guys would be like, I gotta go get this car. I'll spend however much money I need to spend on it, right? So we do take ourselves for granted. We do take this physical body for granted. So hopefully, after our time together, you'll start to think a little differently about this vessel that you are living in. Okay, so that was me. 5 C-sections, desperate to get healthy, and desperate to understand why. And that's the information that I'm gonna share with you today. Hi, welcome, come on in. Come on in. So after I did at least 6 years of pretty deep studying and pretty deep detox work, deep, messy, deep work, I hosted my first class. I lived in Southampton, New York, and I offered my first class, which is very similar to what we're gonna learn here. And the results, not only from the clients physically, but like their feedback, like it was just, they loved it. Information that you can't find anywhere, or you can find it a little easier today, I'll say that, but it's still not readily available. Does anyone know why juice? Why do we juice? Do you know what I mean by juice? I'm not talking about orange juice, I'm talking about like green juice. It's kind of like popular right now, people drinking green juice. Or why smoothies? Why? Do we know why? Do you know why?
I think the body can process them easier.
That's true, the body can process. Well, all juices, right? You're gonna learn about this in another day, but juice is just the water inside of a plant, a fruit or a vegetable, right? So it's just the water containing, so the water is just separated from the pulp, and then you get juice. A smoothie is something where you take So you don't eat the entire fruit or vegetable when you juice, right? You separate water from fiber, you throw away the fiber, or if you're fancy, you can cook with it or something, I don't know. And you drink the juice. So it's easy for your body to absorb. That energy and that nutrients goes directly into your system fast. So you're right. And smoothies are similar because it's pre-masticated. You put everything in a blender, and then you blend it up and it's thick. Oh, I have mine here. I haven't even had a chance to have mine. You guys are so lucky. This is my smoothie for the day. This is a smoothie because it's the whole thing, okay? You guys can sniff it later before I drink it. And so because it's pre-masticated, it's broken down, it is easier. So that is a good answer, but that's not the only reason. And it's actually not the most important reason. We're going to learn that today. This stuff you can kind of read on your own. Does anyone know why we should detox?
Because you build up lots of bad things.
Toxins.
So because you build up bad things. That's a perfect answer. You build up bad things. You have a car. If you never went to get your oil changed, what would happen? Build up, break down, right? But then many of you say, well, we have organs of elimination, Lillian. Why do I need to detox? How many of you think that? How many of you think I have the organs that I need created perfectly, and so I really don't need to detox because my body can take care of it?
No.
Right? And so I'll say that maybe that was true in the past, but because of the way that we live today, not only cars, computers, cell phones, yes, there are more chemicals today than there was 20, 40 years ago. When we were growing up, McDonald's, anything that you bought at the grocery store was vastly different than it is today. There are so many more man-made chemicals in our food. So the McDonald's from the past that I was eating growing up is not the same McDonald's that kids are getting today, okay? And so because of the amount of toxins that have been added into our environment, man-made, all from organic, obviously, all from organic sources, but they're still toxic to us. So just the plain increase in toxins in our everyday life. Our organs cannot keep up with that. They just can't, and so they get overloaded. And that's why we start to break down as we get older. That's really what aging is. It's the breaking down of our beautiful, amazing body. And we can slow it down through detoxification. So you can read that on your own time. Don't read What to Expect in a Week, please. We'll get to that later. A day in your week, I'm giving this to you early. This is not something you're going to follow this week. We'll start this next week. So just put that to the back. It says a day in your week, put that to the back. And if you're an eager beaver, don't do it. So some symptoms that you can expect. I go through the whole list. Headache, diarrhea, low energy, irritability. That's me. You'll know when I'm cleansing because I'm like, what do you want? I mean, hi. I get very really, really moody. And then you can have severe cravings. You can actually have physical achiness, almost like a flu. Sometimes if you go really too hard, too fast, you almost feel like you have the flu. That's not what we're doing. We are not doing that. It's not a safe and it's not a smart way to go. Okay, so you will still have a hint of some of these possibly. But what are some of the great things that you can look forward to? Increased hydration. Just physically, your body, you'll increase the hydration, better sleep. Weight loss is just a byproduct of detoxification. Who's here to lose weight, quote unquote? How many of you want to, lose weight? I know, that's how we grew up. We always want to, it's so true. You ask any woman, I would almost say any woman of any age, even teenagers, unfortunately, what's your number one goal? To lose weight. But then the question is, what kind of weight are you losing? What are you going to lose? Do you want to lose muscle? No. Right? Do you want to lose fat? Okay. Maybe we can lose a little bit of that. Anyway. Reduce puffiness. Oh my gosh, this is going to be the first sign for most of you. It'll be something in your face, and people will just be like, oh, you look so bright, or you look like, oh, well rested maybe. It's usually the first sign is your face. Just something happens, I don't even know what it is. You get a little bit brighter, you get a little less puffy. It's wonderful. Increased clarity, increased energy for sure, and you actually do break food addictions. And most of us, if you're eating regular food out there, unfortunately, you're addicted to something probably in food. And I was studying the manufacturing of food, and they actually pay scientists to make their food more addictive. We're talking about the big companies, we're talking about processed food. And they came up with this amazing little combo that if you can make something that's crunchy, we're talking about texture, crunchy but also soft, that as humans, we can't resist that combination. And so this is crazy. I don't even know where I heard this, but if you think about an Oreo cookie, you have crunchy and you have soft. If you think about the pretzels that are filled with peanut butter, you have the crunchy, you have the soft. And that is a combination that your brain, that you can't win. Like literally, you can't win against certain foods nowadays because they're putting certain flavors, certain textures. It's literally someone's whole livelihood to create a food that 99% of us in this room will get addicted to and we can't put it down. Those commercials, you can't have just one, they weren't kidding. They weren't kidding. It's chemical. And you can't fight against that. But when you cleanse, you stand a chance. Okay. So that's me. What is the difference between a detox specialist and a nutritionist? I get this a lot. So a detox specialist is all about what can we remove from your body. Whereas a nutritionist is like, oh, let's add this vitamin. Oh, you don't have enough of this? Let's add. So if you've ever been to a nutritionist and you've purchased $1,000 worth of supplements, you'll know what I'm talking about. Okay? Whereas a detox specialist is how can we remove? How can we remove debris? How can we remove old waste matter? How can we remove excess hormones? How can we remove all of this stuff so that your body is free and capable to do what it's meant to do? Your body's one goal in life is not only to keep you alive, but to make sure that you thrive. And I know, once you hit like 40, you're like, really, Lillian, are you sure that's what my body's trying to do? Because it doesn't feel like that, but it is. And the only thing that's getting in the way is us. What are we putting in? And I'm not just talking about food. What are we watching? What are we listening to? Right? It's a whole big thing. But right now, we're just talking about food because we don't have time. We only have 6 weeks. We only have an hour per week, and that's it. So that's the difference between a detox specialist and a nutritionist. I'm here to take things out of you, not add anything to you. So what is detox? Detox is a 2-step system. That's it. It's actually pretty simple. It's not easy, but it's simple. Step 1 is called the awakening. We go in and we awaken old waste matter. There's a whole host of things that we're going to be awakening and releasing. We'll just say that. I'll talk more about that later. And then step 1 is the awakening, just awakening all of this inside your body. Step 2 is the release. That's it. And I have a nice little story time for you to visualize this. If you haven't washed your shower, cleaned it out for a year, and there's gonna be like some soap, scummy stuff all over the place, right? So you're gonna go into your shower and you're gonna spray, whatever spray you use, toxic probably. We're gonna spray this toxic stuff. Then we're gonna get a coarse sponge or something, and we're gonna scrub. Okay? That's called the awakening. That's step 1. We go in and we awaken everything. So if I go in and I spray and I scrub, my sponge is a little wet, right? So what's left? Does it look clean yet? No. Because you have all of that just kind of like mussed up. You can't see through the glass because it's all fine, right? Step 1 is the awakening. Step 2 is the release. Step 2 is when you go in with the water and you go psh, and then everything goes psh, and you're like, oh, I can see out my glass now, right? That's step 2. So many of you haven't detoxed before, which is kind of great because you don't know. But what many cleanses do is they do step 1 really well. So if you've done a 5-day juice cleanse, you've awakened. But have you done step 2, which is the release? And that's where 99.9999 all the other cleanses fail. That's where they fail, is they do step 1, so it's awakened inside your body, and you're like, oh, and then you don't get rid of it, so it just gets reabsorbed. We're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. And just so you know, this is a 6-week cleanse. You can follow along and eat and do what I ask you to do, or you can just come to the classes and learn and say, you know what, it's never going to be a good time to do this. That's another thing. It will never be a good time to cleanse. You're going to say, oh, I have this party. Oh, I have to travel. Oh, I have this. Oh, but I'm staying up late. Oh, but we have this. Someone's coming over for lunch. I can't. I get it. I've had so many excuses my entire life. So whatever excuse you have to not do it now is valid for you. So you might just come and learn and take notes and say, in the future. And that's fine if that's where you're at. If you want to jump in with me and you want to actually perform a very gentle, very effective cleanse, we'll start like probably Monday. I'm going to give you all the information today. You can take it home over the weekend. You can think about it. And then maybe you start Monday. Maybe. And if you don't want to, that's fine too. Okay. Where were we? Two-part system. So I want to talk a little bit about the difference between a detox specialist and a nutritionist one more time, because I have another story time. These story times really helped me when I was learning to like visualize like the shower thing. I'm like, okay, I get it. Oh, rinse. Yes, I understood. And so the reason why we don't want to add anything like a nutritionist does is because our systems are clogged. And if you think about like a kitchen sponge, like the yellow sponge, you know, imagine that you were trying to clean up like some mush, right? And then you took that liquidy, mushy stuff, and it's all in the sponge now, and you put it out in the sun to dry. And you come back tomorrow. And then you're gonna say, I'm gonna wet this sponge now. And you pour water over the sponge. What happens? It just trickles over. Because it's clogged. It's dried in there, right? All those little spaces are now full with like that mushy stuff. So it's dried up, you're pouring water over it, and it's just trickling over. Maybe a little bit comes in, maybe. And so that's basically the state of our bodies today, is that we're clogged. And so then when we go and we're like, this is the pill that's gonna save me. This is the supplement that is gonna save me. You put it in, you might absorb a little bit of it, but most of it is just trickling out and leaving you, because you can't absorb anything when you're clogged. And don't be we are all clogged. All of us. All of them. All of Florida. If you're in Florida, if you're in the United States, if you're on the world today, you're clogged. Unless you're like in the mountains and you grew up there. Okay, maybe there's a chance for you. So we're clogged. And so the how of detox is that we use certain foods. And I don't even like to say foods are good or foods are bad, right? We pick a food according to what we want it to do for us. When you're going out to dinner with your friends and you're at a restaurant, you're picking a food that you think is going to taste delicious, right? It's going to fill your belly, but you're choosing something because it's going to taste good. It's not like, ooh, this food is going to give me energy and hydrate me and make me feel amazing. It's like, oh, this looks really good. I want to try it, right? So we're going to choose foods moving forward, hopefully, that are hydrating. So most of us are dehydrated to the point of we are dehydrated. And how do we know? Listen, as we get older, it just happens. My hair, not as like it used to be. It's a lot drier. My skin, drier. We are dehydrated, right? And we're eating mostly dehydrated foods. Anything you cook, if I take a big old bag of spinach and I throw it in and I start to heat it, what happens? Steam rises. And what is that steam? That is the water that your body needs. That's the hydration that your body needs. So anytime you're eating cooked food, it's completely dehydrated, even if it's soup. I know, I've heard it all. Well, what about soup? Nope, it's all cooked. It's all cooked in there. It's not a hydrating food. Is there a little bit of water? Yes. But if you take a melon and you eat that, I mean, how much of a melon can you eat? Because you get full fast. Because why? Because it's full of water. And that water, we call that water. Any water that comes from a plant, a fruit, or a vegetable, we call that organic water. Because that water was made from the sun, it's made from the earth, right? So that water is like, really, you don't get any more organic than that from the water in a watermelon. You can't create that, right? You can't make that. So the more hydration via organic water that we can get in our system, the more that we're gonna hydrate on a cellular level. Cucumbers, think of all those wet, cucumbers, melons, apples. Some fruits aren't quite so, like a banana, not so much. not so much. So if you love bananas, they're not the worst thing that you can eat, but in terms of hydration, it's not the best thing for you. So we need to rehydrate our system on a cellular level, and we will use as much raw fruits and vegetables as we can. How many of you can honestly say you eat raw food every single day? Every day without a doubt, okay. I mean, it's a step, but probably it looks like a piece of this, or maybe a salad, right? Like it's not a huge amount of raw food, I would imagine. I could be wrong. So that's goal number one, is we're going to increase the amount of raw food that we eat, okay? So just to talk about a little bit of stuff that's in us, a little bit of icky stuff. We got mold, we got mildew, we got candida, we have pathogens, we have excess hormones, we have heavy metals, we have parasites. And yeah, I know, we can live with all of that stuff. And parasites we need. We don't want to get rid of everyone, but we do want to get rid of some. And so that brings us to water-containing foods. I already mentioned them. Raw fruits and raw vegetables. Period. That's it. That's what a water-containing food is. Raw fruits and raw vegetables.
Can you hydrate from drinking a lot of water?
No. No, and if you think about the water, so water that you get from a plastic bottle that's been sitting in a truck and then sitting in a store, I know, and then sitting in your home, it's not, I don't have enough time to talk about what's called living water, but if anyone is interested in that, you can go to YouTube and just look up living water. I forget the man's name, Dr. It starts with the H. He did this whole study on water and how structured water, if you place water droplets on a table and you play music next to them, they form these beautiful formations. It's because you want living water. So no, water that we get out of our faucet and water that we get out of a plastic is not going to be the same as eating our water, right? Eating our hydration. Can you see how water that's been sitting in plastic and it's been purified and it's been this is not the same as eating a whole watermelon? Like it just kind of makes sense, right? The watermelon is what? Alive.
Fiber.
Yeah, well, we don't worry about the fiber. We want that water. We want that water. We want that hydration. Dead water in a bottle, plastic bottle. I won't even talk about all the chemicals that are going into your water. Or a watermelon. Or if you're afraid of sugar, a green apple. Right? Hydration, real hydration on a cellular level. Whereas the water we're drinking today is mostly, unfortunately, not living.
So where do you get the real water?
Fruits and vegetables.
Don't you have to eat tons and tons to get as
Well,
much as you would drink?
You're right. We're going to get to that.
What about grapes? Are they really good?
So I'm going to talk about which fruits are best for us. And the reason why I say us is because we do have candida overgrowth. Most adults over the age of 30 are going to have candida. And so we do steer away from high sugar fruits. I'll talk about that when we get to our food list. But that's a great question. And yes, grapes are very juicy and they're so delicious and they're so sweet. But we'll talk about that in a moment. So think about how much dehydrated food that you eat on a daily basis. Breads, crackers, anything cooked. Anything cooked, that's all dehydrated. And then let's go to the drinks. Sodas, coffees, all very dehydrating. And as you mentioned, alcohol. We know that alcohol is dehydrating. I mean, how many of you guys, you know that, right? I don't need to tell you. You're not here for me to tell you alcohol is not great for you. You know that.
Yeah,
And that's another thing. You know, when you think about your life and you think about, oh, I want to be healthy, you feel like you're so lost. But the truth of the matter is, like, there's just something inside of you that says, like, probably eating fruits and veggies is probably a good idea. And I'm not saying no to meat, and I'm not saying no to eggs. I'm not saying no to any of that stuff. But I'm just saying, like, if you think about it, like, probably fruits and veggies are probably pretty good for me. I'm not sure why. Well, now you know why. Because they're water containing. That's the number one reason. That's the number one reason, because they're water containing. So most of us know. And so when it comes to alcohol, not only it's poison. It's poison. So you're drinking poison, and your body will react as such. You're not going to die from drinking a beer, right? And like your glass of wine every night. We all know this. Many of us have been drinking. I personally don't drink. I just gave it up because it just didn't make me feel great. I didn't have an issue with it. I was just like, When I drink, I get tired. I get hungry. I just want to eat everything. Like, give me some chips and I'll just eat the whole bag, right? And then the next day I was like, I don't really feel great. So why am I doing this? I'm like, it didn't make sense. I always wanted to be that mom who came home and like had a glass of wine, and I love it, and I just didn't. And so finally I was just like, I'm not going to do it anymore. So I kind of gave it up. Well, I have a sip now and then. You always get those pushers, like your sisters. Just have a margarita, Lil. All right, I'll have a sip. Thank you. They don't really get it. But anyway. Okay. So let's move on to food. So your homework for this week, the first step is, I'm not going to tell you to have a food log. I'm going to tell you to write everything down, because who would actually do that? If I said write down everything you eat for a week, who would actually do it? 1, 2, 3. All right, so we have type A's in the room. I see that. I was one of those. I was like, yeah, I'll do it. Day 1, breakfast, lunch. I don't know what I had for dinner. Done. Like, I could say I'm going to do it, I'm not going to do it. So if you would like to keep a food log, I don't need sizes, I don't need amounts, it doesn't have to be perfect. Just be like breakfast, 1 egg on, I don't know, whatever. Just try to write down, and it's just going to give you a good, I'm not going to look at it, I'm not going to judge you, I might a little bit. But then you'll know what you're consuming. Know thyself, right? I know I'm not going to keep a food log. Step 1, know thyself. I'm not keeping a food log. If you're going to do it, do it. And if you're like me, just take note mentally. Just be like at the end of the day, okay, I had 3 raw things today, and then mostly I had, cooked. Just try to take note. Maybe at the end of the day, just write like raw, bad, cooked lots. I don't know. Just so that you remember, just so you can see a week of, I think I ate pretty good, but in actuality, I ate no raw food today. I basically had like crackers and cheese. Oh, talk about constipating. Okay. So just know thyself, know what you're eating. Yes? Homework number 1. Homework number 2 is, how much raw food can I add to a day? That's it. I don't want you to go crazy. And I don't even care what you eat. We're going to go over the food list, but you don't have to stick with the food list this week, because week 1 is just getting to know yourself, getting to know how you actually eat, and then seeing if you can sneak in a few little raw things. It could be a salad at dinner. Maybe you're like, I don't want to eat a salad. Maybe you just add a small salad before dinner. Maybe it's, a green apple before you have breakfast. Maybe lunch, I don't know. Try to fit in more. That's it. So that's homework number 2.
If you have a salad, let's say at lunchtime,
Yes.
and you have some vegetables in it, but you also put fruit in it, blueberries and strawberries and whatever you've got in the house, how does that count, or doesn't it?
So I'm going to talk about, food combining. Has anyone ever heard of food combining before?
Mhm.
Raise your hand just so I can see food combining. How many of you understand food combining, or you've just heard about it and you're like, what the heck, kind of, sort of weird? Okay. So we're going to talk about food combining this week as well as next week, because it's very confusing and you're going to have 101 questions. So this sheet, it says food combining chart. So the most important thing this week is that you get to know how much raw food you eat in a week. That's your number 1 homework. Number 2 is seeing if you can add a little bit more raw somewhere, okay? That's your official homework. Food combining doesn't really start until next week. But because it's such a hard thing to explain, or to practice rather, I'm going to sprinkle it in this week. I'm going to explain it to you now, and I'm going to say, listen, if you feel like playing with food combinations this week, have at it. It's really, again, simple, but not easy. Let me explain why. So this is another thing. But why does food combining work, Lillian? Don't you want to know why it works? Like, I'm going to teach you how to do it. But I wanted to know why. But why does it actually work? So I'm going to give you the why, and then we're going to get into the how. Or would you rather have the how and then the why? Why? Okay. So if you think about a highway, and we have a little speedy car, like a sports car, like, I don't know, I'm not into cars. We have a sports car. And then next, after that, we have a minivan, mama with all her kids, minivan. And then after that, you have a big old semi truck. Okay? So if they stay in that order, sports car, minivan, big old truck. The sports car is going to go probably the faster, right? Mini car is going to go fast-ish, and then the semi, I know they go fast, but we're pretending like they're hard. They don't really go that fast. A little bit slower, right? We can see that. But then what happens if we put the semi first, and then we put the sports car, and then we put the minivan? The sports car now can't go as fast as it wants to because the truck's there. And then every time the truck stops, the minivan, the sports car has to slow down, and then, it takes 5 years for the truck to get moving again. And so this is what food combining is. In our system, we have, the fast movers, the foods that move quickly through our body. And then we have foods that move medium. And then we have foods that move very slowly. So can you guess what the fast movers would be? Anybody? Fruit is number one, actually. Well, juice, green juice would be number one. But when it comes to like a food that you chew. So fruit is number one. And within that, listen, I'm not getting technical. There are people who get technical with the food combining. We're just covering the bases because we don't have time. I only have 20 minutes left. We gotta go. So we're covering the basics here, and it works. You don't need to get all nitty gritty. But within fruit, you have melons that move super fast. You have bananas that move super slow, right? So let's say on average, fruit takes about 30 minutes to get from your stomach to your intestines. We'll just say 30 minutes. That's what we're saying. Some 10, some 30, some 40, average 30. Okay. And then next you'll have veggies. Veggies take a little bit longer. But they're right behind. They're sort of like a sporty minivan. Okay? And then the minivans would be all cooked veggies. All cooked veggies. All cooked fruit would be the minivans. And then you have some things like sweet potatoes. Those can go through a little quicker. You have some quicker moving, heavier food. And then you have the semi-trucks, which are animal-based products. Okay, so let's say you have a hamburger that takes 6 hours to move from your stomach to your intestines. And let's say the cooked veggies take about 2 hours from your stomach to your intestines. And then you have the fruit, which takes 30 minutes-ish. You can see fruit goes super fast. Cooked veggies go kind of fast. But let's say a hamburger without a bun. Hamburger without a bun. Let's say you have it over a salad. It goes 6 hours, so kind of slow, right? So you can see what happens if I have a hamburger and then I have fruit. The hamburger's gonna take a long time. That fruit's gonna sit on top. It's gonna start to rot. It's gonna start to cause some havoc. Okay? So the number one rule about fruit is this. I would love for you to follow this rule just for this week and tell me what you think. Fruit only on an empty stomach and by itself. By itself and on an empty stomach. Oh, it says it right there. Huh. Always eaten alone and on an empty stomach. Now there is one thing that we can do that breaks this rule, if you will, but it's not really broken because you can mix berries with greens. So berries on the salad.
What about the vegetable lot? Then you have the little tomatoes and
Yeah, no.
green beans and all
Tomatoes are a fruit, but no.
that. Yeah, right. Well, the green beans are.
We'll get a little bit more technical. So for now, just keep fruit alone and on an empty stomach. So when are you going to eat fruit? That's it. That's it, because once you've eaten cooked food for the day, you are no longer allowed to have fruit. No more fruit for dessert.
No.
Well, there goes my yogurt with blueberries.
I know.
Darn.
This is one, so listen, she said there goes my yogurt and blueberries. What if you did yogurt 20 minutes before you do your, blueberries 20 minutes before you did your yogurt? That's it. You just have to make a little shift. It's a little shift. It's a tiny shift. Just try it for 1 week. I'm not asking you to change the fruit that you're eating. Keep whatever you're eating. These are just, we'll talk about these fruits next week.
Dear heart, what's the spacing? If you eat the fruit first thing in the morning when you get up.
Wait 30 minutes before you have something else.
Okay. Thank you.
Good question.
Does it have to be green apples?
So for this week, no. But then starting next week, part 2, yes. So for this week, eat whatever you got in your house. Eat whatever, but don't go buying new stuff. If you're gonna go, do you guys go like shopping on Sundays like me, or is that just like a weird working person's thing? So this is what we're going to move towards, these foods. We're moving towards these foods next week. I have a shopping list for you right here. Okay? So we're going to lean into these foods. But it doesn't have to be all you eat this week. This week, remember, we're noticing. We're attempting to add raw food, and then we're playing with food combining by eating fruit alone and on an empty stomach. Okay? So that's phase 1 of food combining. Fruit alone and on an empty stomach. I'm going to tell you the rest of it, but you don't have to do it this week. Just start thinking. Every meal you sit down, you're going to be like, dang, this is not properly combined, but that's okay. So the way I laid it out, you have neutrals in the middle. What does that mean? It can be eaten with almost anything, not fruit, because we already know that. And then on one side, we call it flesh. You can call it protein. Flesh sounds weird, but that's what it is. So you have flesh on one side, and then on the other side, you have starch, which you can consider that a carbohydrate, mostly, right? And then, so, this is food combining in a nutshell. You can only eat flesh with a neutral, and you can only eat starch with a neutral. You will never eat flesh and starch together. So say goodbye to hamburgers and hot dogs and pasta and meatballs and sandwiches and breakfast sandwiches and pancakes and bacon and everything that you love, basically.
That's cruel.
Okay? That is food combining in a nutshell.
Really quick, a starch and a neutral.
A starch and a neutral together on the plate. So, here, I'm going to give it to you easy.
I have a question
Yes.
already. So spaghetti squash
Yes.
with meatballs on it would be bad because you're putting flesh with the,
Spaghetti squash.
yeah, spaghetti
Do
squash.
I have spaghetti squash here?
No, but
Okay.
would that
We'll,
be?
we'll talk about spaghetti squash. Spaghetti squash is more towards a neutral, so you
Oh.
could have that.
Oh, okay.
But I'm going to give you examples of plates, okay? Spaghetti and meatballs. Is that properly combined?
No.
A hamburger. I already said it. No. What about a big plate of veggies, mostly veggies, a little bit of rice, and a piece of salmon?
No.
How can I make that plate properly combined?
Take away the rice.
Right. And so you can see it's not impossible. Spaghetti and meatballs, how do I make that properly combined?
Take away the spaghetti.
Or, so you can make zoodles, which I make weekly for me. Meatball sauce, cheese. So good. Or sometimes you want a pasta. So then you have your pasta and you can use the sauce. Can I use cheese? No. Can I have any sort of meat? No. But can I add a ton of veggies?
Yes.
So I'm gonna have a little bit of pasta, ton of veggies, everything's cooked, throw on that sauce, mix it all up, yummy, right? Even one little piece of bread that night, you can have it because it's properly combined. That's all starchy, stuffy. Do we see that? Breakfast. We have egg sandwiches. I don't know, I'm from New York. Everybody eats an egg sandwich. So maybe you have an egg with a piece of bread. No more. I mean, you can for another week. We're gonna do this next week. What do people eat for breakfast? Yogurt and
Yogurt and blueberries.
blueberries.
Cereal?
So cereal is interesting. Cereal's not on our list. Cereal's just extremely dehydrating. But mostly it is a carb, so you can have cereal, but would you have it with milk? That's the thing. You can have it with like an almond milk because milk is more of an animal product. And so you would take the starch and mix it with the animal product, and that's a no. Yeah, but we really shouldn't be cereal. We shouldn't be eating cereal. Cereal's off the list, especially to start your day with such dehydration.
Avocado, I have an avocado every day, sometimes two.
Great.
But that's saying starch.
It is a starch. It's a fruit, but it combines in your body as a starch.
So what do you eat that with?
What do you eat it with?
I eat it with a Wassa cracker.
Yeah, that would be a starch too, so it's not horrible. But a better choice would be maybe with some sweet potato over a salad.
For breakfast?
Oh, you have that for breakfast? An avocado for breakfast?
Egg maybe?
Well, what is avocado?
Starch. Pig flesh.
Yeah. So the wasp is fine. It's
A
fine.
glass
It's
of
just,
wine, a red wine.
It's just- oh yeah, no one even commented on those neutrals that are down there. Okay, so just start thinking about food combining. I'm not asking you to do it. Maybe you do it for 1 or 2 meals and you're like, oh, that was interesting. Maybe you just think about every time you eat, like, oh, how could I make this more properly combined, right? Like it's just, if you're going over to someone's house, this is everyone's always, I can't do it, I'm going out to dinner. Or, oh, I'm going out to dinner. Oh, may I have the salmon with the veggies and rice, but I don't want rice, can I have extra veggies? Of course you can. Done. So simple. Or you're at an Italian restaurant. I want the spaghetti and meatballs so bad, but I'm not, okay, so can I just have the pasta with the sauce, with the order of veggies on the side? Or the reverse, can I just have a bowl of the meatballs, veggies, salad? Good to go.
Not too long ago, I learned about restricted starch.
Okay.
That's where, like a potato, you cook it and then you
Refrigerate it, and that helps to reduce the amount. Yeah, we don't play with that. It's still a starch. Yeah, still a starch. Any other questions about food combining? Was that fairly
No, but I love my coffee in the morning. Is that a no?
wonderful? So you can. I'm not going to take coffee away from you. It's my drug of choice. So the only thing is you want to watch what you put in your coffee. So those creamers that are so flavorful and sweet and delicious, no more. You can have organic half and half, full fat, like regular half and half. Yes. You can certainly use like a skim milk, or you can use any kind of animal product, or you can use plant-based if you're into cashew, almond. The problem with those is that they generally, there's a lot of sugar. So you just have to make sure that sugar is not, it says sugar-free, no sugar add, no, because that's the only thing was that you're going to start your day with like a mouthful of sugar. So organic half and half is actually my first choice because there's a lot of stuff that they put in these vegan nut milks and stuff. I prefer just regular half and half.
What are your thoughts on, it would be a vegan or what do you want, organic protein powder with fruit? And
No, so remember we spoke about absorption being an issue. We talked about dehydration. And so if just for this time together, if you use protein powders, I get it, because the whole idea is like we need to add. Yeah, but remember what I said in the beginning, what we actually need to do is take away. So I would save your money, and I wouldn't just save it. You can use it when you're done with this cleanse, because basically you're just not absorbing enough of it to even make it worth it. And it's extremely dehydrating, right? It's dry. It's like yeah, that's a great question. Thank you.
What do you think about all these organic foods that are on the shelves in the store? Really or not?
So, absolutely, organic is always my first choice, but I do not eat conventional.
How do you know it's organic?
How do you know?
Yeah, just because they got a sign on it.
Yeah, I mean,
because
listen.
doesn't mean
Yeah, I
it's
get it. I totally get it. But the hope is, in order for a farm to be organically certified, they do have to pass, allegedly, a test. And there's not, so listen, they can spray. There's a certain amount of area that they can't have spray. Anyone else spraying around their farm. Does that mean a farm 10 miles away that they're spraying and it's not coming over onto the organic? I don't know. I do the best that I can. And I do have some faith, right, in the foods that we have offered to us. That's all I can do. Could I grow my own stuff? Maybe I'll add that onto my list of things to do, but I can't do it right now. Am I afraid of conventional food? Absolutely not. I grew up on it. I've been eating my whole life. Does that mean it's good and it's fine? Probably not, but it's the best I can do today. And that's the other thing, you guys. We're always looking for progress, not perfection. Whether it's what we're eating, whether it's with the workout, what you're listening to, what you're watching, just think, how can I make it a little bit better today? Because a little bit better on top of a little bit better on top of a little bit better is going to eventually be a lot better. So do we mostly buy organics? Yes. Am I wasting my money? Maybe. But I do the best that I can. Great question.
I was over at Sprouts not long ago.
Yeah.
And I found that they had intermixed the same fruit and vegetables in with the organic.
I get it. You have to read, yeah.
And if you hadn't seen or didn't know the difference, I thought, here we are in
I get it.
organic store.
It's not all organic. They absolutely have conventional. In fact, my husband came home with conventional half and half the other day. I said, honey, thank you, but it has to say organic on it. Okay.
Gotcha.
So all the tags, they do indicate it. Every store has, just because they have organic or just because they're a health food store, doesn't mean that's all they carry. Yeah. And one more note about eating and food. This cleanse, if you choose to accept the challenge, it's all about simplifying what we stick in our face. How can I simplify my meals? Going back to the food combining, if you take a hamburger on a salad, it's going to take about 6 hours to go through your body, through your stomach, to your intestines. If you take a hamburger with a bun and french fries, that's going to take like 12, 13, 14, 15 hours. And why do we care about how long a food sits in our system? Because the longer it's in us, we want our food in and out. That's what we really want. And if you look at babies, they're in and out. Every time you eat, you should go to the bathroom. But it doesn't happen that way anymore. We're lucky if we go once sometimes, you know? In and out. Why? Because the longer that food has to sit in our body, the longer time it has to rot, to ferment, to attract pathogens, and to just wreak havoc on our system. So food combining helps your food to go quicker through your system.
Do you have to combine, like if I just want the starch?
Absolutely not. You do not have to food combine.
Alright.
So this week, if you want to play with it, and maybe your goal is one meal a day that's properly combined. Maybe your goal for this week is to have one properly combined meal the entire week. That counts.
But you still didn't tell me what I can eat with my avocado.
Oh, so avocado, you can have it with the bread. It's properly combined. It's a starch.
Oh, that's combined?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's properly
Okay.
combined. Yeah.
I don't see nuts and seeds.
We don't do nuts and seeds.
Oh.
Yeah. At all,
Not
pretty
at all.
much. If you had the choice between a nut and a seed, you want to choose the seed. Yeah, the seeds are, sunflower seeds, pumpkin seeds. They're much easier for your body to digest, and they're much cleaner. The problem with nuts is they're coming from all over the world, and they absolutely have mold. And even if you can't see it, they're spending way too much long time traveling. And also, it's combined. If you think about a nut, it has proteins and starch. It's already ill combined before you even eat it. And especially for women, sorry ladies, it's very hard for our bodies to digest nuts. Extremely. Like, we should not be eating nuts. We should not be eating cereal. We should not be eating nuts.
Does oatmeal fall in the cereal category?
So oatmeal is, I know it's touted as a health food, and I'm not saying not to eat it, but it's dehydrating. It's very heavy for our bodies, and it's just not. I'd rather see you eat a sweet potato for breakfast than a bowl of oatmeal.
And quinoa. Okay, so seeds like flax and chia.
Fine. They're fine.
Okay.
They're fine. They're better than a nut. Any other questions on food combining?
How would you cook a sweet potato for breakfast?
We do about 20 sweet potatoes baked in the beginning of the week. And if you come to my office right now and you want to see my lunch, it's a sweet potato. Just a big old sweet potato. I eat it like a banana. Ask Buddy. He's like, you are weird. I'm like,
But
I know.
cooked.
Cooked.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. Any other questions on food combining? So who's going to attempt to food combine one meal this week? Just one. Just one meal. Just give it a shot. All right.
What about peanut butter? Oh, peanut butter's out. Oh,
So
no.
peanut butter. So listen. Again, I don't want to what do you have it with right now? What do you eat your peanut butter with right now?
Celery.
I
I
love
just have it
peanut
on
butter
bread,
and
but
celery.
that's not good either.
So the problem with bread is that it's very dense, it's very hard, it's very clogging, dehydrating. It's just, there's nothing like.
Sometimes I just dip my finger in.
All right, have at it. Have at it.
Can you just go back to the chia and the flax? That would be considered starch if we were to have it with that?
I would say you can consider. You're not going to use a lot. We're talking about a teaspoon,
Yeah.
tablespoon. You can use it as a neutral. You can sprinkle it on your salads, even if you're having, fruit.
You can have quinoa, okay, as a starch in place
Yep.
of oatmeal.
Yep.
Super quick. Okay, say I have a cappuccino with plant-based milk, the good kind, doesn't have the garbage
Yep.
in it. How long do I
30
wait
minutes.
before I can have just fruit?
30 minutes.
30 minutes, okay.
All coffee, even if you have half and half. You had a question?
Yeah, in the flesh category, are there slower trucks than faster trucks?
That's actually a wonderful question. The answer is yes.
Yeah.
But we're getting quite technical.
Right.
So the larger the animal, the harder it is for your body to digest. So a cow is going to be much harder than a chicken.
Okay.
I mean, that's the easy answer. But eggs are much easier than all of it. Somebody else have a question? I thought I heard. Okay, that's a great question. Within each category, yes, there is all different levels. Like I said, even in the fruit category, you have, the melons are the fastest, and then you have bananas, which are pretty slow.
So what can you put on your salad instead of salad dressings? Just lemon?
So I like to eat like really huge, amazing salads. I don't eat like boil. You can use oil, a little bit of oil, but you want to think about this too. It's hard for our bodies to digest fat, especially if we're mixing fats. So a really great salad dressing is avocado, lemon, salt, pepper. Just mix it up. You can add a little apple cider vinegar, and then throw that over your salad and just like mix and mix and mix. But it's a starch, right? So I'm not going to add chicken to this salad now, but I can add some quinoa. I could add some carrots. I can add some, any kind of veggie you want. If it's a raw veggie, it's a free veggie. So you can put as much as you want. If it's a cooked veggie, it doesn't matter because they're all starch anyway. So you can put any cooked veggie on top of that salad. But let's say you needed your protein and you wanted to have chicken. Then you might do no avocado, but you can still do a little bit of oil, a little bit of lemon, salt, pepper, chicken and cheese, and some veggies. Now,
So oil is considered neutral?
you can put it there, but just it's very sparse. Don't over oil.
Should it be olive oil?
If you can, yeah, stay away from seed oil, stay away from vegetable oil.
Where do tomatoes go?
Tomatoes are a fruit.
So we eat them by themselves?
You can put them in a salad. That one's fine. You can put them in a salad. Any other questions?
I do have one.
Go.
I usually drink my cup of coffee with a spoonful of organic heavy cream in the morning, but is that not?
It's perfect.
Okay,
Totally fine.
all right.
Would green beans be considered
Neutral.
neutral?
Whether they're cooked or raw, they're neutral. Yeah.
Way.
Eat as many. Oh, butter is a neutral. Did you all see that? No one even mentioned the butter, the wine, the dark chocolate. Okay, so the thing with chocolate, I'm not saying you. Oh gosh, I've taught so many classes, and you know how many times I've heard, well, I'm just gonna have chocolate and wine for dinner. So listen, you can drink red wine is preferable. Yes. Should you have it every day? Probably not. Butter. Do you want to use like a whole stick? No. So just, within reason. If you don't have stevia, they sell a liquid stevia. I know everyone's like, I hate it. It leaves a residue. They make a liquid stevia now. You can get it in the stores or you can get it on Amazon. It comes in flavors, or you can just get it plain. And for me, it really does work. Like so I use it in my smoothies sometimes, just to kind of, take away that little bit of an edge. We're not going to talk about juices and smoothies today. As you can see, you have a lot. You already have enough. The information I gave you today, this could get you, if you did this for a year, if you did just this for a year, you would be a different person. If you properly combined, if you only ate fruit alone and on an empty stomach, and if you hydrated, you kept as much raw fruit and vegetable in your system as you can, that's 1 year of this, and you'll be a different person. Your hair will be different, your skin will be different, your face will be different, your energy will, everything will be different if you did just this, day one. If you did just this for a year, you would be different, yeah.
You're talking about stevia, what about honey
No.
instead of?
So yeah, because honey is a little bit higher on the glycemic chart, yeah.
So you're saying the only time to eat fruit is in the morning before you eat anything? So like if you're hungry at night, you have dinner at 6 and it's 10 o'clock, don't go get fruit.
How does salt, pepper, and spices fit into?
Neutral, as much as you want. I mean, we're not gonna go crazy, but yeah. Does anybody here intermittent fast? Or has anyone
Sometimes, yes.
heard about intermittent fasting? And so she just asked me, so I can only have fruit in the morning for breakfast, right? Didn't somebody just say that? Right. So the answer is, if I'm intermittent fasting, which, what time is it? I haven't eaten today yet. So if I want to go have fruit right now, I could. Because the only thing I've had is coffee. I had my green juice earlier today, and I've had water. So I could have fruit at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, but it is my breakfast, technically. So the timing is a little bit weird if you intermittent fast. We can talk about intermittent fasting quickly, not now. Not now. So does anybody have any more questions about food combining? And the other thing I want to say is what to expect your first week. You're not going to experience this with this very light tweak of your diet, okay? So you're not going to experience that this week. A day in your week, we're not going to start this until next week because I haven't even talked about juicing. I haven't even talked about smoothieing, okay? So don't look at this. Oh, one thing I would like to add, lemon water. If you can wake up in the morning, I have this bad boy every morning. Half of a lemon, that's it. That's it. Drink through a straw because the lemon will wreak havoc on your enamel. So just drink through a straw if you can. This is 32 ounces. If you can only get 16 ounces in, it doesn't matter. Warm, cold, I don't care. Lemon water upon rising. First thing you put in your face, lemon water. And then you carry on. You have your coffee.
I have a problem with lemon and the acid in it.
So then don't, if it doesn't work for you.
Canker sores in the mouth. And anything that's very.
Yeah. So then steer clear. Just have water.
Water.
Just water. Totally fine. Yeah. Any other questions?
What does lemon do?
So lemon is just great to kind of jumpstart everything, and they say it cuts through like biofilm. I don't know if I buy that, but I know for sure that it just helps me. It wakes you up. It makes you feel bright. Refreshing for the mouth. They say it helps with your liver, kickstart your liver. I don't know if I buy it, but I still do it. I do things, even though I'm not 100%. Does anybody have any other questions? Yeah, no, I love questions.
So
Questions
I eat organic maple hill, whatever the brand is, plain yogurt, and obviously can't put my blueberries, but would that be considered a flash, or
Yes.
should that not be? It's whole milk,
Yeah,
yogurt.
it would be a flash. Oh, no one asked this. If I want to have a starch for lunch and then have a protein for dinner, how much time in between the two meals? It is different for everyone. You can start with 3 hours, 3 to 4 hours, I would say. That's usually the rule, 3 to 4 hours. I had another thought. What was it? Food combining. Oh, for me, when I first started this, food combining was very hard for me, I'm not going to lie. It took me probably years to get it right. And I'm not perfect. I intentionally will have pasta and meatballs or a hamburger. Like I'll have whatever I want. But I make a decision, like this is what I want. This is what I want. I'm not just putting things in my mouth and just thinking it's okay. Anyway, for me in the beginning of food combining, if you're someone who's serious, and I can tell there's a couple people who are going to be like, I am food combining all week. I will be perfect. I'll give you this hint. You know who you are. And the hint is this. Go for a whole day of starch or a whole day of flesh. Because then you don't have to think about the times, right? Like, I'm going to have eggs in the morning with some feta and some spinach. And then lunch, I'm going to have chicken over salad, right? And then for dinner, I'm going to have steak. I don't know, whatever, right? All flesh meals. But if you're like snacky in between at 2 o'clock, you don't have to think about, oh, am I allowed to have this? Just have some crudité with some cheese because you know it's a flesh day. And then on the other side, if you're having an all-starch day, you're going to have, what do people eat for breakfast? I don't eat breakfast. So you're going to have fruit, maybe a lot of fruit. That'll be your breakfast. And then for lunch, you're gonna have a salad with quinoa and a sweet potato. And then for dinner, you're having why can I think of it? Like the cauliflower steak and salad with some sauteed veggies. And you don't have to think about it. It's just easier. Go ahead.
Beans, are beans under starch?
Beans, the magical fruit. Beans are not in this. We don't eat beans.
Really?
No beans and no nuts. Are you a vegetarian? I was just asking, because it makes it a little bit harder if you're focusing on beans for a protein. But then, you know, lentils are better than beans. Yeah. Quinoa,
Interesting.
better than beans. Yeah.
Do you know why no beans?
Because if you think it's already a bad combined food. It has protein and it has starches. And again, it's just harder for our bodies to digest. Yeah.
So if you're doing an all starch, then how are you getting protein from quinoa?
There's a little bit of protein in everything. And quite honestly, I don't believe the protein hype, but you know, listen, if you need to have your protein, you can have everyday protein. You know, you can have it, or if you want to mix it, that's fine. I'm just telling you what worked for me in the beginning. That's what worked for me, is I would just have the whole day protein. I didn't have to think about it. I was a snacker. I don't really snack so much now, but in the beginning I was like, I'm starving to death, you know? So that's what I did. Any other questions? Well, I hope you guys are inspired. I hope you give it a shot. Remember, hydration, hydration, hydration. Every system of the body is going to work better when we are hydrated on a cellular level, and the only hydration that counts is your raw food. Next week we'll talk about smoothies and juice. I'll get a little bit deeper into why it's so good for you, how to do it. We're going to revisit food combining, because I know food combining, you're going to go home and you'll be like, what did she say? You know? So yeah, that's it for today, you guys.
Thank you.
Yay! Have a great week of realizing what you eat and trying to add a little more raw food, and maybe you'll get a properly combined meal in there.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Bye guys, thank you.
I do have a question.
Yes.
I have a friend who couldn't take the class because it was full.
Yeah.
Can I bring her notes, or is
Yeah,
that not? Is that
sure.